Hello and welcome back. I'm your host Harshit Sinha, continuing our series with another important topic on battery waste management. Today we'll explore the framework established under the Battery Management and Handling Rule of 2001, which lays our responsibilities for various stakeholders, including manufacturers, importers, dealers, recyclers, and consumers. These rules aims to ensure the safe collection of recycling and environmentally sound disposal of used batteries, particularly lead acid batteries, to reduce their harmful impact on the environment and public health. We'll discuss how each stakeholder play a role in maintaining a circular economy, from mandatory take-back system and record-keeping obligation to recycling target and public awareness. This regulatory approach not only promotes accountability but also encourages sustainable practice throughout the battery life cycle. So stay tuned as we break down how these responsibilities are structured and what progress has been made since the implementation of these landmark rules. Slide 2: Legal Foundation and Key Definitions. The Battery Waste Management and Handling Rule 2001 were officially notified on May 16, 2001, following a period of public consultation where the stakeholder objections were considered by the central government. These rules derived their legal authority from Section 6, 8, and 25 of the Environment Protection Act of 1986, providing a strong legislative basis for their enforcement. Their scope is broad, applying to every manufacturer, importer, reconditioner, assembler, dealer, recycler, consumer, and the bulk consumer involved in use or management of the batteries in India. Key definitions under these rules clarify scope and responsibilities of stakeholders. A battery is defined specifically as a lead acid battery which contains lead metal and stores electrical energy. The focus is on the batteries that possess significant environmental hazard due to improper handling. A bulk consumer refers to organizations such as government department, railways, defense service, telecom companies, and the large corporate buyers that purchase 100 or more batteries annually. A recycler is an entity that process used lead acid batteries to recover lead and other material. These must be registered with the Ministry of Environment and Forest or a designated agency. Slide 3: Responsibilities of manufacturers. The responsibility of manufacturer under the Battery Waste Management and Handling Rules of 2001 are centered on ensuring the environmentally sound management of used lead acid batteries. The first key responsibility is to establish an effective collection system to ensure that used batteries are returned as per the prescribed schedule. This system excludes batteries sold to the original equipment manufacturers and the bulk consumer. Secondly, manufacturers must ensure safe transportation of used batteries. They are required to collaborate with the dealers to transport used batteries from collection centers to registered recycler, minimizing the risk of environmental damage during transit. Another critical obligation is reporting. Manufacturers must submit half-yearly return on the quantity of batteries sold and brought back. These reports must be filed with the respective state pollution control board by June 30 and December 31 each year using a specified Form 1. Lastly, manufacturers play a key role in public awareness. They are expected to inform consumer about the hazards of lead, the importance of returning used batteries, and location of collection centers. Through these responsibilities, manufacturers help ensure compliance and protect a circular economy in battery usage by reducing pollution and encouraging the recycling of lead acid batteries. Slide 4: Collection Targets. The collection targets under the Battery Management and Handling Rule 2001 established a phased approach for manufacturers to ensure the return of used lead acid batteries, promoting safe recycling and minimizing environmental harm. These targets serve as a comprehensive benchmark and drive the implementation of extended producer responsibility. In the first year of the implementation, manufacturers are required to collect 50% of new batteries sold during the year. This initial target allows time for setting up effective collection mechanism and raising public awareness. In the second year, the collection target is increased to 75% of new batteries sold. This significant jump aims to accelerate the development of efficient reserve logistics and strengthen the accountability of manufacturers. From the third year onward, the collection target, which is its peak, mandating that 90% of new batteries sold must be collected by the manufacturers. This final and sustained target underscore a long-term commitment to environmental protection and resource recovery. These progressive targets reflect the government's intention to transition toward a circular economy where the battery waste is systematically reduced and the life cycle of material is extended through reuse of recycling. They also encourages manufacturers to develop robust infrastructure and partnerships to achieve consistent compliance. Slide 5. Registration of importers. The registration of importers under the Battery Waste Management and Handling Rule is a critical regulatory measure designed to ensure accountability and traceability of batteries entering the Indian market. To begin with, importers must register with the Central Pollution Control Board using the prescribed form for 5 years term. This registration is mandatory to track and monitor the import and distribution of batteries, thus preventing unauthorized and unregulated entry of battery products into the country. The registration is subject to strict compliance requirements. It can be cancelled or suspended if the importer fails to meet key obligations such as the collection of used battery as per set target or non-submission of half-yearly return in timely manner. Renewal of registration is contingent upon adherence to these responsibilities, reinforcing the principle of extended producer responsibility. Furthermore, importers are granted due process right through an appeal mechanism. If their registration is suspended, cancelled, or rejected, they may file an appeal within 30 days of the orders. This provision ensures transparency and fairness in enforcement while encouraging importers to remain compliant. Overall, this structured registration process fosters responsible import practice and contributes to environmentally sound battery waste management in India. Slide 6. Customs clearance requirement. Custom clearance requirements for battery importers in India are designed to ensure that only authorized environmentally compliant products enter the country. Importers must fulfill several regulatory conditions before customs clearance can be granted. Firstly, a valid registration with the Reserve Bank of India is mandatory. This includes obtaining the importer code number, which verifies the legal status of the importer and forms the foundational requirement for all import-related procedures. Secondly, the environmental registration is essential. Importers must complete a one-time registration with Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change or a designated agency by submitting Form 1. This step ensures that importers' activities align with national environmental regulations. Additionally, stringent documentation is required. Importers must provide an undertaking in Form 3 and submit a copy of their latest half-yearly return in Form 4. These documents confirm that the importer is in compliance with battery waste collection target and reporting obligation as per the Battery Waste Management Rule. Slide 7. Dealer responsibilities. Dealer responsibilities under the battery waste management rule are crucial for ensuring the safe and systematic collection and return of used batteries to the appropriate channel. A dealer play a key role in operational execution of the extended producer responsibility framework. One of the primary responsibility is the buyback system. Dealer must collect used battery from consumer in accordance with the prescribed schedule. To encourage returns, they are required to offer an appropriate discount or incentives for every used battery returned by the consumer against the purchase of a new one. The dealer are also required to register with the State Pollution Control Board for a period of 5 years. The renewal of registration depends on the timely and accurate submission of the required compliance document and returns. Record keeping is essential. Dealer must file half-yearly return detailing the sale of a new batteries and buyback of used batteries to manufacturer. These reports must be submitted by May 31st and November 30th every year. Lastly, dealers are responsible for ensuring the safe transportation of the collected used battery to designate collection centers or registered recyclers. This transportation must be carried out without causing any environmental harm, thereby upholding the principle of safe and sustainable waste management. Slide 8. Dealer's registration process. Dealer registration process under the battery waste management rules is a regulatory requirement that ensures accountability and compliance in collection and management of used battery. To initiate the process, dealer must submit Form 4 to State Pollution Control Board. This form must include essential business details such as name, address, telephone number, tax identification number, and fax number if applicable. This step is aimed at formalizing their role in battery waste collection ecosystem. Once the application is submitted, registration is considered deemed approval if no objections are raised by the authorities within the 30 days. This provision streamlines the process, helping the complaint dealers start operation without delay. However, the registration may be cancelled under the specific condition, primarily for failing to meet collection target for used batteries or not submitting mandatory half-yearly returns. Dealers are entered to fair hearing before any such cancellation is enforced. In case where registration is suspended, cancelled, or denied, the dealer has right to file an appeal within the 30 days from the date of orders. This appeal mechanism ensures transparency and offers fair opportunity to redressal. Overall, the registration process ensures that only complaints and responsible dealers participate in the battery waste management, thereby promoting the environmental safe and regulatory discipline. Slide 9. Recycler responsibilities. Recycler responsibility under the battery waste management rule are designed to ensure transparency, environmental safety, and efficient material recovery in battery recycling process. Recyclers are first required to register with the Ministry of Forest or a designated agency using Form 6 if not already registered. These steps ensure formal oversight and accountability for all recycling activity. They must also submit annual return in Form 7 to the State Pollution Control Board. These returns should detail the source, quantity, and type of used battery received along with the metal yield recovered. Maintaining accurate and accessible record, it is mandatory to facilitate inspection and ensure regulatory compliance. An important environmental measure is the product marketing. Recyclers must clearly mark recycled on all lead recovered through the recycling process. This labeling enhances transparency in the material supply chain and discourages unauthorized practice. Additionally, recyclers have a public awareness responsibility. They must educate consumer about the hazardous or improper best battery disposal and inform them of their obligation to return used batteries only to registered dealers or designated collection center. While fulfilling these responsibilities, recyclers play a vital role in creating a circular economy, minimizing environmental harm, and supporting India's sustainable waste management goal. Slide 10. Recycler registration procedure. Recycler registration procedure under the battery waste management rules outline a formalized process to ensure recyclers operate within the environmental and the safety norms while handling hazardous battery waste. The process begins with the application submission through Form 6 accompanied by the valid consent under the Water and Air Acts authorizing under the hazardous waste rule a certificate from district authorities, industries, centers, and detailed statement of the installed capacity. These steps ensure that only capable and compliant entities engage in a battery recycling. Next, a facility assessment is conducted by the Ministry of Environment and the Forest or its designated agency. This assessment verifies whether the applicant has the appropriate infrastructure, technical capabilities, and equipment to recycle batteries safely and manage hazardous waste disposal. The ministry must reach a decision on the application within 90 days of receiving a complete submission. This timeline ensures administrative efficiency and provides applicants with a clear expectation. Finally, the registration validity is set for a period of 2 years from the date of issue unless it is suspended or cancelled due to non-compliance. Importantly, renewal application must be submitted at least 60 days before the expiry to maintain uninterrupted operation. Slide 11. Suspension or cancellation of recycler registration. The suspension or cancellation of recycle registration is a regulatory mechanism to ensure compliance with the conditions outlined under the applicable environmental laws. The process begins with the non-compliance identification where any failure by a recycler to adhere to registration requirement or statutory provisions is detected through routine monitoring and assessment. Following this, the recycler is given an opportunity for explanation which serve as a fair chances to clarify, justify the reasons behind the observed non-compliance. These steps ensure transparency and upholds the principle for natural justice. Based on the explanation provided and the reviewing all relevant evidence, the regulatory authorities may take a decision to either suspend or cancel the recycler registration. This decision is formally recorded along with the reasons. However, the recycler retains the right to appeal against the decision within a stipulated period of 30 days. Slide 12. Consumer Responsibilities. Consumers play a vital role in ensuring the effectiveness and sustainability of battery waste management system. One of the primary responsibilities is a proper disposal of used battery. Consumer must ensure that the batteries are not discarded with general waste or through unauthorized channel. Instead, they should be handed over to authorized dealer, manufacturer, importer, registered recyclers, or designated collection center. Another key responsibility is environmental protection. By correctly disposing of used battery, consumers help prevent hazardous chemical from leaching into soil and water bodies. This significantly reduces the risk of contamination, thereby protecting human health and preserving ecosystem. Additionally, consumers are instrumental in supporting the system as a whole. Their active participation is crucial for the success of the battery management framework. Engaging in responsible disposal and recycling practice supports the creation of a closed-loop recycling process, which is the core aim of environmental regulation. Slide 13. Bulk consumer obligations. Bulk consumer of battery have a critical role ensuring environmental safety and regulatory compliance. One of their primary obligations is to adhere to proper disposal requirements. They must ensure that used batteries are not disposed of improperly but instead handed over to the authorized entities such as dealers, manufacturer, registered recyclers, importer, or designated collection center. This prevents the environmental risk associated with the hazardous disposal method and promotes responsible recycling. Another important responsibility is reporting requirements. Bulk consumer must submit half-yearly return in Form 6 to the State Board. This reporting framework helps monitor the movement and disposal of large volume of batteries and ensure transparency and compliance with regulatory standards. It also provides insightful into purchasing pattern and disposal channel, thereby strengthening accountability within the system. Additionally, bulk consumer must comply the auction restriction. They are only allowed to auction used batteries to registered recycler. This restriction is designed to prevent unauthorized entities from obtaining used batteries which could lead to improper disposal and environmental harm. Slide 14. Auctioneer responsibilities. Auctioneers play a pivotal role in the battery waste management ecosystem by ensuring that used batteries are handled responsibly and do not enter environmentally unsafe disposal channel. A key responsibility is to ensure restricted sales, meaning used batteries must be auctioned exclusively to registered recyclers. This measure is crucial in preventing batteries from being mismanaged or reaching unregulated entities that may dispose of them improperly, leading to environmental harm. Auctioneers are also required to meet specific reporting requirements. They must file half-yearly return of their auctions to the respective state board using Form 9. This practice promotes transparency and establishes a clear chain of custody, thereby ensuring that the auction process aligns with the regulatory standard and contributes to system-wide accountability. Additionally, auctioneers must focus on record maintenance. It is mandatory for them to maintain comprehensive records of all auctions activities. These records must be made available to the State Board upon request, facilitating inspection, audit, and regulatory compliance. Slide 15. Regulatory oversight and recycler facility requirements. The battery waste management system operates under the structured regulatory framework that ensures environmental safety and compliance. Regulatory oversight is primarily carried out by the Central Pollution Control Board and the State Pollution Control Board. The CPCB is responsible for reviewing compliance data and providing guidance to Ministry on necessary intervention. Meanwhile, the State Pollution Control Board enforces rules on the grounds and monitor adherence to the environmental norm. A key component of this framework is annual compliance reporting, wherein each State Pollution Control Board must submit a report to Central Pollution Control Board by April 30 every year, detailing the implementation status and compliance by the stakeholder. On the other hand, recycler facilities must fulfill stringent requirements to operate legally. These include regulatory compliance, which involves obtaining valid environmental consent under the Water and Air Act as well as authorization under the Hazardous Waste Regulation. Technical capabilities are also essential. Facilities must be equipped with the proper infrastructure and technology for safe and efficient battery recycling. Furthermore, environmental controls such as a system for managing air emission, wastewater, and the solid waste are mandatory to prevent pollution. Slide 16. Computerized tracking system. The computerized tracking system is a vital component of effective battery waste management aimed at ensuring transparency, traceability, and accountability throughout the battery life cycle. These systems, overseen by the Ministry of Environment, Forest, or a designated agency, is designed to monitor batteries from the production to disposal, covering all stages of distribution, collection, processing, and recycling. In terms of distribution and sales, the system tracks the movement of a new batteries from manufacturers to dealers and consumers. This helps to establish supply chain accountability and prevent illegal and unrecorded sale. Under collection and processing, the system monitors the collection, auction, transport, and reprocessing of used batteries to ensure they pass through authorized recycling channels. This is critical in preventing environmental contamination and promoting safe recycling practice. Another crucial element is tackling the recycled material flow. The systems keep record of the sale of processed lead and other material by registered recycler, including their return to the domestic market. This supports the circular economy by ensuring material are reintegrated into production responsibly. Slide 17. Form 1. Reporting sales and collection. Form 1 is a critical reporting tool used by the manufacturer, importers, and the bulk consumer to file return of a new battery sale and used battery collection. It must be submitted twice yearly by June 30th and for October-March period and December 31st for April-September period. The forms capture detailed information about the battery categories, quantities sold, and the collection rates. This sample chart illustrates how the data in Form 1 might be visualized, showing the relationship between the new batteries sold and used batteries collected across different categories. The collection rates vary by category but generally align with the mandate collection target. Slide 18. Form 2. Importer registration. Form 2 is a mandatory document required for registration of importers of new lead-acid batteries or primarily lead in India, submitted to Ministry of Environment Forests. This form is essential for enabling customs clearance and helping authorities monitor the flow of batteries into the country. It ensures regulatory control over battery imports and supports environmental compliance. The form requires comprehensive importer details, including the name and full address, to establish the identity and geographical location of the entity for registration and future tracking purpose. Importer must also provide relevant license information, specifically their import-export license number, confirming they are authorized to engage in the trade of batteries. Additionally, Form 2 mandates the nomination of responsible person who will be accountable for ensuring adherence to battery waste management rules and other regulatory norms. This person's details helps authorities enforce compliance and assign responsibility in case of violation. Form 19. Form 3 Importers Undertaking. Form 3 is a vital compliance document required from importers of lead-acid batteries or primary lead, reinforcing their responsibility toward the environmentally sound battery management. Submitted to the regulatory authority, this form ensured that importers not only declare their import but also actively participate in the end-of-life handling of batteries. The form requires declaration of import where importers specify the quantity of batteries imported. This declaration enhances the transparency and enables authorities to monitor import volume. A core component of the undertaking is a collection commitment. Importers must agree to collect used batteries equivalent to the number of batteries they have imported, ensuring a balanced inflow and outflow mechanism and reducing the environmental risks. Additionally, the form includes recycling assurance, wherein importers commit to sending collected batteries to authorized recyclers. This step is critical for ensuring that the material are processed through safe and the legal channel. Lastly, the form entails a reporting pledge requiring importers to submit half-yearly return to the state board. This facilitates ongoing accountability and help track compliance with waste management regulations. Slide 20. Form 4. Dealer registration. Form 4 pertains to the mandatory registration of dealers involved in the sale or distribution of lead-acid batteries. Under the registration, dealers are required to furnish complete details including their business name, address, and contact information. This ensures traceability and helps authorities to maintain database of active participants in the battery distribution network. This form must be submitted to the appropriate regulatory authorities and serve as a key component in tracking the battery supply chain and enforcing compliance with the battery waste management rules. By registering through Form 4, dealers commit to responsible business practice such as educating consumers on a proper battery disposal, encouraging the return of used batteries, and maintaining accurate records of battery sale and return. They also support the collection of used batteries, facilitating their safe transfer to authorized recyclers. Slide 21. Form 5. Dealer Sales and Collection Return. Form 5 is used by dealers to report both their sales and new batteries and collection of old batteries. Dealer must submit this form to manufacturer twice yearly by May 31st for October-March sale and October 30th for April-September sale. Form 5 is used by the dealer to report both their sales of new batteries and collection of old batteries. Dealer must submit this form to manufacturer twice yearly by May 31st for October-March sale and November 30th for April-September sales. Slide 22. Form 6. Recycler Registration Application. Form 6 is a crucial document required for the registration of recycling units under the environmentally regulatory framework. It ensures that recyclers operate in accordance with the environmental standard and safety norm. The application covers four key components. First, facility information. Applicant must provide detailed data about the recycling facility such as commissioning data, for workforce size, and installed production capacity. This ensures transparency in operation and helps assess the facility capability. Second, regulatory compliance. This section confirms the recycler adherence to legal mandates. It includes the validity of consent under the Air and Water Acts and authorization under hazardous waste rule. It ensures that the operations are aligned with the existing environmental legislation. Third, production data. Recycler must submit 3 years of data detailing production history, raw material used, and manufacturing process, supported with the flow diagram. This helps monitor the scale and nature of recycling operation. And the fourth one is environmental control. Applicants are required to disclose detail on water and energy usage, air pollution control system, and hazardous waste treatment measures. This section emphasizes sustainable practice and pollution prevention. Slide 23. Form 7. Recycler Returns. Form 7 is a mandatory submission required for recycler twice a year by June 30th and December 31st to report their recycling activities specifically related to used battery scrap. This form ensures accountability and transparency in the recycling process by documenting the key performance indicators. The form highlights three major data points. First, processing capacity 1500 metric ton. This refers to the recycler's annual installed capacity to handle used battery scrap. Second, battery scrap processed 1200 metric ton. This is the total quantity of used battery scrap received or purchased from various sources such as manufacturers, dealers, and auctioneers during the reporting period. And the last one is related with the lead recovered, that is 720 metric ton. This denotes the quantity of lead extracted from the recycled battery. Form 7 not only tracks the quantity but also documents the movement and end use of the recovered lead. Whether the recycled material is sent back to battery manufacturer or other authorized entities, this traceability is critical to promoting a circular economy for lead. Slide 24. Form 8, Bulk Consumer Returns. Form 8 is a regulatory requirement for bulk consumer to report their battery purchase and disposal activities. It must be submitted to the State Pollution Control Board twice a year by June 30th for October to March and December 31st for April to September. The forms ensure that large-scale users of battery remains accountable for their responsible handling and disposal of used batteries. This form collects essential information about new battery purchase categorized by the usage sector such as the automotive, industrial, and others. The other is disposal details of used batteries including how and where they were sent, whether to manufacturer, dealers, importers, registered recycler, or the other authorized agency. By mandating this form, authorities aims to track the flow of batteries from purchase to end of life handling. It helps prevent improper disposal and encourages environmentally sound practice and supports the development of a circular economy is in battery management. Form 8 is particularly crucial for industries, transport companies, hospitals, and other bulk consumers, ensuring they are a part of eco-compliance framework. Slide 25. Form 9, Auctioneer Return. Form 9 is a statutory requirement of auctioneers involved in the sale of used batteries. It must be submitted to the State Pollution Control Board twice annually by June 30th and December 31st, covering the period of October to March and April to September, respectively. The form plays a vital role in maintaining traceability and regulatory compliance in the recycling chain. Auctioneers are required to report on three major aspects. First, inventory reporting. They must declare the number of used batteries auctioned and the total tonnage handled during each reporting cycle. This ensures accurate tracking of battery movement in the secondary market. Second, source documentation. Auctioneer needs to identify the source from which the battery scrap originated, ensuring transparency and accountability in battery sourcing. Third is related with the sales reporting. This section documents the number of batteries sold and confirm whether the buyers were registered recycler. This helps prevent unauthorized entities from acquiring hazardous waste. Slide 26. Penalties for non-compliance. Non-compliance with the battery waste management rule attract strict penalties to ensure accountability and environmental protection. These penalties target various stakeholders such as importers, dealers, recyclers, and companies involved in the battery value chain. First, registration cancellation. If a stakeholder fails to meet the obligations such as the collection target or submission of mandate return, their registration can be suspended or cancelled. This bars them from legal participation in the battery market, thereby enforcing regulatory discipline. Second is Environmental Protection Act penalties. Since the battery regulation falls under the Environmental Protection Act of 1986, violators can face serious consequences under the Section 15. These includes imprisonment for up to 5 years and or a fine of up to 1 lakh rupees depending on the severity and frequency of the violation. And the third one is related with the additional penalties. For repeated or continuous violation, additional daily fines ranging from 5 to 5,000 rupees may be imposed. The law also allows for holding company directors and managers personally liable, ensuring that the individuals in charge are accountable for their organization's actions. Slide 27. Amendments to the rule. The rules governing battery management have evolved over time to address emerging environmental and regulatory challenges. The original framework was established through the Battery Management and Handling Rule notified on May 16, 2001. These rules laid down the foundational structure for battery collection, recycling, and environmentally sound disposal. The first major revision came through 2010 amendment via SO 1032E dated May 4, 2010. This amendment introduced significant change such as stricter registration requirement for the importers and dealers and cancellation provision for non-compliance. It also enhanced the oversight by mandating that recyclers make their record available for inspection and ensured that used batteries were sold only to the registered cyclers. Subsequent updates have been made to refine and improve the system based on implementation experience and evolving market dynamic. These changes aim to strengthen enforcement, close regulatory loopholes, and promote greater accountability across the battery supply chain. Slide 28. Now let us look comparison with the e-waste rules. The battery waste management rule and e-waste rule share a common goal of promoting extended producer responsibility, that is EPR, ensuring that the manufacturers take accountability for their product at the end of their life cycle. Both frameworks emphasize collection system, registration requirement, and reporting mechanism to manage waste sustainable and prevent environmental harm. Similarity between the two include regulatory measures to prevent unsafe disposal of hazardous material, protect public health, and encourages resource recovery. Both are enforced through State Pollution Control Board and requires coordinate across producer, recycler, and other stakeholders. However, there are significant differences. The battery rule are focused specifically on the lead acid batteries, while the e-waste rule covers a much broader spectrum of electronic equipment. The mechanism for collection, recycling, and monitoring are tailored to the unique characteristic of each waste stream. The e-waste rule tend to more detail with the provisions for producer responsibility organization and innovative financial mechanism to improve the compliance. They also account for the complexity of dismantling and recovering material from diverse and technological advanced electronic product. Challenges not only typically present in the battery recycling. Slide 29. Technological innovation in the battery recycling and the battery labeling requirements. The technological advancement in the battery recycling has significantly improved the efficiency, safety, and the environmental sustainability of the recycling process. These innovations are essentially for managing the increasing volume of battery waste and promoting a circular economy. One of the key breakthroughs is a hydrometallurgical process which involve advanced chemical techniques to recover valuable metals such as lead and other forms use batteries. These methods operate at a lower temperature compared to the traditional pyrometallurgy technique, making them more energy efficient and environmentally friendly. Automated sorting system represent another innovation. These systems are used by the robotics and AI-driven technologies to quickly identify and separate different battery types and components. This improves the processing accuracy, enhancing material recovery rates and reduces contamination risk. Another is closed loop electrolyte recovery is a sustainable solution that allows the use of electrolyte after purification. This reduces the demand of new resource and minimizing waste generation, making the recycling process more circular and eco-conscious. And the last one is related with the tracking technologies such as RFID tags and the blockchain system enable the real-time tracking of batteries from production through disposal and recycling. The technologies improve traceability, regulatory compliance, and resource recovery planning. In parallel, battery labeling requirements play a crucial role in ensuring safe handling, proper recycling of the batteries. Firstly, the recycling symbol must be displayed clearly on all batteries product. This helps consumer and recyclers identify recyclable items and promotes awareness about the responsible disposal. Technical information is also mandatory. Labels must be include specifications such as voltage, capacity, and the chemical composition. This details assist recyclers in correctly classifying and handling the batteries according to their material and potential hazard. Moreover, safety information is a crucial. Labels should include warning about the possible hazards, including risk of fire, explosion, or toxic exposure. They must also outline safe usage of disposal practice to protect consumer, handlers, and environment. Slide 30. Challenges in implementation. The effective implementation of the battery waste management regulation faces several critical challenges that hinders compliance and environmental protection. One of the most pressing issues is the dominance of the informal sector. A significant share of battery recycling is out of the unregulated entities that uses unsafe methods, posing severe risk to the both workers and the environment. These informal operations bypass legal requirements, making it difficult to monitor and control harmful practice. Infrastructure gap further complicates compliance. Many regions, especially in the rural and semi-urban areas, lack adequate collection centers, transport facilities, and process units. This logistically shortfall prevents consumer and business from disposing of the used batteries responsible. Awareness issues. Awareness issues also poses a major obstacle despite the existence of the rules and the public compliance. Many individuals remain unaware of the environmental hazard linked to the improper battery disposed of their legal responsibilities as consumer. And the lastly, enforcement limitation weakens the regulatory framework. State Pollution Control Board often faces resource and manpower constraints, making it difficult to ensure compliance, monitor activities, and take timely actions against the violators. This concludes part 1 on the Battery Waste Management Rule 2001. In the next session, we will delve into part 2 exploring the updated Battery Waste Management Rule 2022. So stay tuned and enjoy your summer break. Until then, bye bye.